Mate, look, take us through the first game in the round, the Thursday night game, the Collingwood versus Melbourne game.
Yeah, I guess it kind of lived up to a lot of the expectations, really. There was obviously a lot of noise about 1v4 and some of the history between the two teams, of course. And for the most part, met all of it. So as we can see, 9-6-60 to 7-11-53. The D's had their chances and just couldn't get the job done at the end of the day. But that's not without some decent contributions as well. So Bailey Fritsch kicking 2. Cozzy really obviously had his opportunities there with 1 goal 3, and Tom McDonald with the singular goal himself for the Pies, the victors in the end. Bobby Hill with an exceptional game. Massive credit to him. It was a fantastic performance all around the ground, not just in front of the sticks, but also in terms of some playmaking as well. 3 goals, 1 for himself. Dan McStay with the 2, and Brody Mychek pretty well held with the 1 goal 1 there. But I guess everything counts when it's a low scorer like it was in the end. Disposals, not necessarily anything to write home about specifically when it comes to the Pies. Very much the team effort style commentary there, but 23 to Crisp, 22 to Sidebottom, and 21 to Tom Mitchell, the great flopper, off the back of some efforts during that game. Whilst for the Ds, carried pretty heavily by their big 3, Clayton Oliver with 31, Petrarca with 29, and Maxi Gawn, 27. As the ruckman, which is a pretty exceptional effort. He did a lot of heavy lifting and did a fantastic job.
He's fantastic. Max Gawn, probably one of the best performances in a losing final for quite some time. I thought he was terrific. Darcy Moore came back. He was pretty good.
Back from a hamstring and looked pretty solid. But I don't think he necessarily shot the lights out, but he did what he needed to. The D's forward line is not necessarily the most potent in the world, which perhaps gave him an advantage, I guess, an ability to ease his way in a smidge. You don't ease yourself into finals, but it's not the most grueling of encounters first up when it comes to the D's offense. Obviously, there's that was all underpinned by the sad news of Jakey Melksham doing his knee and being out for 12 months.
Yeah.
But then on the Pies side, there was a bit of noise and controversy as well, with John Noble being dropped before the game there. Well, not before the game, but in the days leading up to the game. And a great credit to the team, doing an amazing job getting around him there. But it was, I guess the backdrop was that the D's had gotten up by 4 points last time that the two teams had played. And I guess ultimately that's not how things finished in the end. It was a bit of a seesawing game at different stages, a really interesting one. But yeah, I don't know. What did you make of the final result before we get into a breakdown?
Before you get into it too much, I thought Collingwood were the better team on the night. As much as Melbourne would probably say they had their opportunities to win it, I just thought Collingwood looked a lot more polished, looked a lot more organised, and we're playing finals type footy. So for me, I would have given a big tick to the Pies, and I think if anything, they probably just let Melbourne back in it late, and maybe just thought they had it win. And that's what finals can do to you. You lose your head a little bit there, and it's sometimes.
And suddenly Gary Rowan's taking mark of the year on you and kicking winning goals from 50. It's
exactly.
It's exactly.
Take us through the first quarter, though, mate. Take us through the first quarter.
All that anyone cares about from the first term is obviously the Brayshaw Maynard incident. And I guess we can probably wade into that pretty quickly. Is he going to get weeks? What's going to happen? Because it's been referred directly. It's a very strange one because it seems like there's been some pulling of rank going on, and it skipped straight around the MRO and forwarded straight on to the tribunal. So it's certainly a fascinating backdrop for that. But what do you think is going to be the net result after inevitably an appeal as well?
Yeah, short answer is I think he'll get weeks. If you talk to someone like Swoop, Luke, he'll probably say, yeah, let him off. But all Collingwood supporters will say that. It's a tough one. I feel bad for him if he missed it because it's one of those borderline ones, but I think he's going to miss, sadly.
Well, that's the thing. Like I think he absolutely was endeavouring to do the right thing. He tried to smother the ball. He was stuck in midair. Not a lot that he could do, but because he did turn, and the AFL's kind of current trend, which is focus on the outcome as opposed to the act, he kind of has to go, right?
Looks like it. Yeah.
But we'll wait and see in that regard. And obviously, you'd think probably 2 games, and maybe in that case it might have been the worst possible thing for the Pies to go on to lose because there's no way you can get back if that ends up being the case. So we'll wait and see. But the Pies leading by 20 points at quarter time. It did prompt a brawl. Jack Viney got involved, as I guess would surprise absolutely no one. Doesn't mind swinging arms despite the fact that he's reaching an extra foot compared to everyone else just to get in the contest. So good luck to him, I suppose. the D's did start to come back from there. And as you kind of touched on, the Pies gave them an opportunity over the course of those remaining 3 quarters, and they nearly took it. Cozzy lifted them, though he couldn't put the score on the board himself. They were chipping away at a little bit. 17 points by halftime. The Pies then blew them out again in the third. And I guess all credit to the Pies. It's that final sort of circumstance. You don't expect any of your opposition to just throw in the towel. They're going to keep coming. And the D's did. The Pies responded, pushed the lead out to 25 points. But then, that final term got really interesting. An atrocious shot on goal from, I think it was Bailey Fritsch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Could not have hit a barn door if he tried with that shot. So pretty disappointing in that respect. Not only, I guess, for Melbourne supporters, but I think for all of us, because it would have made a real spectacle if it was 1 point with a minute or two up our sleeves. It would have really made things interesting, but not to be. And the final result being a Pies win and a home prelim.
Yeah, and I'll probably just add Jacob Van Ruyen, whatever his name is. I think he got off at a week, didn't he? Or was it week?
Sniper
1 week or 2?
Van Ruyen.
Sniper Van Ruyen, yeah. So he's going to miss the semi-final. We'll see. Oh, who knows what happens with appeals and all that sort of stuff. I don't know where they're at the moment with accepting all that sort of stuff. But
based on recent legal stuff with the AFL, it'll take 2 weeks before they finally get him in to have a chat in the first place.
Possibly.
So
what are your takeaways from the game, though? I think we know Angus Brayshaw is going to miss, but possibly even miss the prelim if they make it that far as well.
Yeah, I felt horrible for him. Obviously, he's got a history with concussion. It goes back a fair way. He had a kind of squeaky clean couple of years, but it sounds like he was pretty devastated by the whole thing, and understandably so. And obviously, we've discussed plenty of times when it comes to the likes of Collar, for example, for the Cats, that concussion is a big concern. And players who have got recurring concussions, the concerns are even greater. So you don't want it to happen to anyone, regardless of the time, finals or not. So hopefully he recovers well. If the D's can go all the way, potentially, then I guess good luck to him. Hopefully he's back for a grand final if that's how things work out. But I certainly don't see him. I mean, he's obviously not going to play next week due to protocols, but I can't imagine the week after, and then they've just got to cross their fingers and hope if they can make it at that point.
Fingers crossed for him, I suppose.
You can pile some votes. You can pile some votes. Your votes.
My votes.
You've done all the legwork on this. But Big Maxi Golden got the three votes, and as we touched on, one of the best games from a losing player in quite some time. 27 disposals and a million hitouts and all the things that Maxi Gorn does. Still side bottom with the 2, and Christian Petrarca with the 1 vote there.
Yeah, I gave him the 1 vote because he didn't really get into the game early. He just didn't know what he was doing. I think they had a nice tag on him, but he came good in the end. He absolutely was trying to tear the game apart in those last couple of quarters there. He was fantastic. So I couldn't give him any more than that. But anyway, so it looks like a big semi-final. Friday night, I think it is the semi-final. Yeah.
Yeah,
Baggers,
Friday night,
which is our next game. But yeah, Friday night game. Another 90,000 maybe at that one. Maybe more. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, the way the Carlton supporters are going at the moment, you can't rule out the possibility that it's just completely maxed out.
I think the Pies are playing the winner of Port GWS as well, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That'll be at the MCG, probably on the Friday night in a fortnight. I'd say. I think that's probably when it'll be.
But yeah.
All right, let's get on with that out of the way. Let's